Welcome back to the Trev Log. I am going to continue building this hangar with the folks over at Bad Decisions Studio. I am just now starting Unreal Engine 5 Beginner Tutorial Part 4 called Modeling Tools Advanced. So, last time we were able to make this entire shape, and actually, I thought that I had recorded it without audio, and so then I figured out how to pull the floor back out because I had deleted the floor at the end of that last video, and then I went back to check my audio. I don't know what happened. It was so weird. Anyway, I could hear everything now, and so I don't know what was going on. Anyway, all that aside, we're going to continue using this reference, which I just opened up Pure Ref and then dragged this image back into it. I wonder if there's a way for me to, like, I guess it's untitled for now. I wonder if I could save it somehow. I haven't played around with that part yet. Maybe I will. But for now, we're going to start adding things from the sounds of it. These like lights um, and the framing of the hangar are going to be put into it. They're calling them pillars, and because they're not sure what they're called. I'm not sure exactly either, but it looks like framing. So let's get started. All right. Okay. So the first thing is simply that they have decided that this is not long enough, or I guess wide enough, and so the it needs to be increased in size, specifically just this green axis here. So I'm going to unlock this because if I don't, it's going to change all three axes and keep it proportional, but we don't want to do that. So unlock, and then they said 14 is what they wanted to go at. So 14, enter. Now it's longer, which is cool. Let's hit, is it W or am I at E, R? Wait, what is happening? I don't know. Undo that. I thought the keybind was W. Oh, it is. I don't know why it didn't go before. Anyway, okay. We'll drag this over here. So we want to be able to use basically this entire space. And yeah, I don't see any light coming through. And so now when I let go, oh no, it's still, okay, cool. Okie doke. Perfect. Okay, it's a little longer now. Okay, let's see what's next. So to get started, what we're going to do is go back to modeling, and then the major heading on the left called model is where we're going to go this time. And then specifically where it says polygroup edit, we're going to click that button. And what happens at this point is that we can see the faces. The big white spaces are called faces. And then the little, uh, they look kind of like faces, but they are, in fact, edges. And then the little points where you can see little squares, those are vertices, just like a triangle or a square has. So, okay, cool. Let's see what they say next. Couple things to note. It says here for me at the top left, real-time mode is required for modeling tools to work correctly. Please enable real-time mode in the viewport options or with the Control plus R hotkey. So I'm going to hold Control and push R.
Cool. I
What? We good? Okay, I guess we're good. And then these buttons here, under selection filter, it says, well, it doesn't say anything, but they're all highlighted. And so if I select the one that looks kind of like is that a pentagon with three of the sides shaded or filled in, it looks kind of like the faces. You can just go over the faces, and now they no longer highlight, so you can't do anything with them. And then if you click it, now you can, in fact, select the faces again. In the video, they decided to turn off the faces, and then this one that looks kind of like the constellation, it's got, it's pointing out the vertices, and so they turned that off as well. And now you can't pick the vertices either, but you can still pick the edges. So the design of the little images is quite good. You can tell that this is vertices, faces, and then edges. And what they did is they grabbed this edge and then they pulled it out, which is pretty cool. So let's just go down. You can see how it just pulled that out from the top. And we're not going to leave it like that, so you can push Control Z to undo it. And there's something else that they did mention that I didn't know about is Control Y is redo. So now it's back to what I just did. But don't actually want to do that. Just pointing out the hotkey for redo is Control Y. So Control Z, everything is back to normal. Let's see what's next. So what we're actually going to do is insert edge loop right here. It says insert a chain of edges across quads, faces with four edges, in the mesh. Due to ambiguity, edges will not be inserted on non-quad faces. Okay, so select that. And then it gives us position mode is proportion offset. Edge loops will fall at the same length proportion at each edge they intersect. For example, a quarter way down. So as you can see, as let's get into a slightly better position. Okay, I can place this anywhere along here, and the whole goal of this is that we're going to be making again those lights uh, going around the entrance to the hangar. But the thing that they pointed out is that this is manual. I would have to set each of these manually. And so to avoid having to do that, because I want it to look exactly the way I want it to look and not mess it up, which by the way, it goes away when you're not on an edge, because again, this is an edge loop. And so when you're on the edge, then it works, but when you're on a face, it doesn't. So anyway, over here on the left in the modeling mode options, it says proportion offset, and you can switch that to even. And then it says how many number of loops. Currently it's set to one, which isn't really like as I move my cursor, you can see it doesn't move it at all. It's just one loop, and it's cutting my hanger in half because now it's going to be even. And if I switch this to 2, enter, then now, again, I can't move them at all, but they are even. And if you think about it, if you have an item and you cut it twice to make even pieces, you're going to wind up with 3 equal parts. So that's what's happening here. Um, However, these are not where I would expect them to be, so let's see what we do next, I guess we'll put it that way. What do we do next? So what they said is that they want us to do 4 loops. They're going to let us know why that is soon, but I don't. Basically, I'm just going with what they said and see how it turns out. I'm just trying to figure out how to use these tools. So I'm going to left click, and yeah, that's pretty cool. So now I can split these out. That's neat. Okay, which that will probably make sense for later, having these 4 based on the reference there. Anyway, we'll get to that. I need to click done and accept. And so that's all laid out inside the mesh at this point. So if I want to actually see that stuff in order to edit those loops and everything, I need to click on polygroup edit, which, oh, I'm not on. It's like, why won't it work? I wasn't selected on the hanger. Okay, polygroup edit, and now there they are. There it all is. And if I go back and turn on the faces, for example, now each one of these spaces has been partitioned out. Oh, this back piece is a little bit smaller, I think, because it's cut off by the wall back there. Anyway, okay, that's cool. Nice. Let's see what's next. So oh, yep. I was right that when you go back to insert edge loop again, that we are in fact going to put in some more of these loops right here, these edge loops. However, instead of 4 loops, because we want to pull out 4 pillars, we're going to extrude, that's the word, extrude 4 pillars, this is the word they're using, for what we need to do is have 8 loops. So let's switch this to 8, enter. And then the reason why that is because now, let's see if I hit done, and then just come over here. Ooh. Then when you, oh my goodness, nope, don't do that. I wonder how did he do that? He was able to highlight, which is what I want to do. But anyway, let me see how he did that. Actually, I really want to know how to do that. Okay, I think the problem, if I'm not mistaken, is having the edges selected. So if I just undo the edges, now I can, haha, okay, I'm getting more than I wanted, but point is that if I hold shift, does it, aha, it lets me get more of them. Okay. So holding shift and then dragging. So if, as you look at this, there are these 4 pillars. Well, they're not pillars yet, but when I extrude those, they're going to come out and there's going to be space between them, and it wouldn't have worked. So I think that's really obvious once you realize that that that's what's happening. Um, but just to point out, it takes 8 lines so that you could wind up with 4 frames being pulled out, or 4 pillars being pulled out, extruded. So, okay, cool. Let's continue. So, the next thing that needs to happen in order to extrude these is we're going to make sure that we select everything that needs to be selected, which is specifically the not the floor, but the where it starts to curve up, and then the wall, and then all the way up to the upper curve. We're going to do that on both sides. So just like what I said, holding shift is how we can select everything like this. However, if you wanted to unselect something but not everything, you can hold control and then left click, and then it will go away. So, but I do want that. So let's see here. We'll hold shift. We want to get all of that and all of that and all of that. And so again, if you do wind up accidentally selecting something that you don't want and you don't want to get rid of all your progress, like I was just about to do that, I could have used control to fix that issue. Okay. This is not so bad. Pretty easy. Okay, so that's all of these on the one side. And then let's go to the other side. And again, yep. Yeah. Just highlighting everything. Shift and left click. I don't know if you necessarily want to watch me do this. You could skip past it or what. Oh my goodness. Cool. There you go. But it's not so bad. Oh goodness gracious. Ugh. I really got to get the hang of moving better. At some point, I'm sure it'll happen. Okie doke. And I don't know. Having not made it, I mean, I'm doing this again, for myself, for my own sake, um, keeping myself accountable to my goals, and hopefully you're using it for that same purpose, or maybe just because you're entertained watching me figure this out. However, um, yeah, there it is. It looks cool. I'm enjoying this. I hope you are too. Cool. Let's see what happens next. Something else that they did mention, and I almost forgot, is that we want to select this button called Hit Back Faces, which I had to push advanced to get to this. So it was like this, advanced, and then, if we go to the outside, you can see the outside is selected as well, and we don't want the outside of the hanger to be selected. So to avoid that, we'll push hit back faces, and it was just automatically selected. Oh no, goodness. Okay. Control Z. Okay. Control Z is our friend. Now it still looks the same back here. Fascinating. I wonder why. Huh. I will assume that it should be good and see what happens. Anyway, hit back faces. That was something they said to definitely push. Yep. Okay. All right. So, unsurprisingly, we are going to select extrude from the top left where it says face edits. There are quite a number of them, but extrude is the one we're currently working with, and I'm curious what these other ones do exactly, but for now, let's click extrude, and then it puts us in the extrude options. Whoa, and it's doing crazy things. So let's see what we do with this. So for the first thing that we're going to need to do here is switch distance mode to fixed, because currently normal it just follows your cursor wherever you go with it, and they're saying set distance with an explicit numerical value, then explicitly accept. So fixed, and then it gives you the ability to put in a number, which I don't know what that number is yet. And so then let's see what's next. Okay, so the next part is under direction mode. Then you switch it, instead of saying single direction, you switch it so that it says selected triangle normals. So select that, and hey, look, the little places that I had highlighted are extruded, and the outside is not. So I was a little concerned with the way it looks highlighted on the outside still, but nothing. Oh, is it actually? Is it actually extruded? Looks like maybe it is. Hmm. Yeah, it for sure is. Which makes me wonder if I needed, in order to avoid that, I needed to have selected or deselected that box before I highlighted. And so let's try that again. I'm going to pause and go back. Well, first of all, I'm gonna, let's see, Control Z, Control Z, Control C. I don't want to go back too far. Okay, everything is, yeah, everything is looking correct now. Hit back faces is not selected, so let's just try have only faces selected, which is good because that's what I want to do. And then let's slow my movement down just a smidge. Okay. And then let's just do that little bit there and see, is it, okay, now it's not selected on the back. Okay, I won't make you watch me do this again, so be right back once it's fixed. Okay, so I have everything reselected at this point, as you can see, and nothing on the outside is selected anymore. So now we can go back to extrude, and it's already still set to distance. Um, Distance mode is fixed, and the number is currently 100. They did, and then also selected triangle normals. It says take the angle weighted average of the selected triangles around each extruded vertex to determine vertex movement direction. So there you go. I don't, And they set this to 150, and that, if we're looking at the reference, seems like, I mean, I agree with them. That seems like a fine outcome. And now, if we go and take another look at, you can see the outside of my hanger is not all messed up anymore. So, totally worth it to just fix it and make it be right. Awesome. This is cool. Okay, let's see what we do next. So, after they said that they were happy with 150, then they decided to play with this a little bit. And basically, there's that triangular, basically, triangular normal direction business. But as it gets so big like this, it can cause problems apparently where, see how it's like overlapping in weird ways now? Um, you can create an issue with the mesh by doing this so that when you try and add materials later to it, it can wind up looking weird or being off. So this is just something to keep in mind. They wound up actually switching it to 170. Oh, 170, which, that's fine. They said that they had done this like 10 times before, so there's definitely some aspects to it that aren't 100% hammered on, but that's okay. Um, I think this is looking good, and yeah, enter, and I think we're going to see what we do next. So they just brought up something that's really cool to know is that the whole idea of the extruded normals idea that I was just talking about has to do with when you look at these shapes, the edges, or I guess the little faces, rather, it's the faces. Um, they are extruding in the normal direction that they are facing. So all these faces that extruded out, they extruded in the direction with which they were pointed. And that's what normals means, which is good to know. That's good to understand that. Okay, I think we accept the action now, and we accept. Okay, now it's looking good. Okay, cool. At this point, we're going to make the pillars or the frame extrusions that are the bigger ones that you can see in the reference here that are going around. So the ones in the front that have these lights, they're narrower and they're closer together. And then farther back, you have a bigger space between the frames and there's more darkness. So we're going to put those in. So we need to go back to polygroup edit and we're still selected on faces specifically. And then from here, we're going to need to use our insert edge loop yet again. But because these are going to be bigger pillars that we're extruding, the faces need to be wider. So instead of 8 for our number of loops, it's going to be at, I believe, 2 is what they just said. I will double check that to be sure. Okay, so I was right. It is 2. Now, what I need to do is find where to place. There we go. So 2, and then 2, and then they actually stopped because they're like, we don't need to build out the entire scene, um, because of where the camera angle is going to be for the final scene. But I think I might as well just do it personally, just for the practice. So put that one in there too, and that last one. Okay, nice. Okay, so I'm gonna hit done now that I have those in there. And they were saying, let's leave this alone, and the first big pillar is going to be right here, actually. And for this one, they are not selecting above the faces in the edges or the corners, whatever. And then, but just like before, it's going to be every other one, and you do need to hold Shift so that you don't lose what you have already selected. Whoa. Okay, so that shouldn't have happened. Control Z. Basically, I didn't select the off to the right, but it's highlighted it anyway. So, okay, there we go. That's looking good. Okay, so that's that side. I'll just leave the back at this point. And 1, 2, 3 in. Yeah, it's actually it's kind of nice. I didn't intend to learn how to like zoom in a little bit or zoom out and then like zoom back to my location. But it's working out. I use Z and C so much when I'm gaming. It just comes naturally. Okay, so that's all. It's all highlighted. Those are going to be my fat pillars or big pillars or whatever. Well, it turns out that they are in fact going to include these uh, these little bottom corners uh, and at the top as well. So just letting you know, I'm gonna, I think, again, pause this so you don't have to watch the whole thing or wait around for the whole thing. But yeah, it's a vaguely slow process for sure. And I can see why they didn't want to do the whole thing. I'm, again, just doing it for my own edification and my own practice, which I think is good. But anyway, I'll be right back. Oh, I accidentally unmuted. Anyway, it's looking good. I got it all done. Or unmuted. Unpaused, I mean. Okay, so that's all done. Cool. All right, so at this point, we can just extrude yet again. So extrude, and then it's already done. Um, it's already the same settings as before. Now, something that they decided to do, which I don't know, I'm following along. I got no no desire to do something different than what they're doing. I don't have any like can't think of how I want to put it, but I'm not invested in the particular design. And so one of the things that they did is switch the distance of the extrusion to 400 and then enter. And I do like this choice, this design choice, because these smaller ones are the smaller frames are smaller, and the bigger ones are in fact bigger. And so it makes sense that they're extruded a little bit more. Cool, that looks awesome. Accept. And let's see what they say we're doing next. Okay, except, and just to point out, this is what it's looking like. And they were really excited. They're like, "You're doing." They're just. I enjoy their excitement about the process. And to be fair, we are doing this. This is now a hanger that has these extrusions within it, and I've modeled this whole thing out so far. It's cool. It's coming along. So again, this is what episode 4, and on the one hand, it doesn't feel like a ton of progress, but on the other hand, I've learned a lot of different stuff, and I think the pacing of it all is feeling good to me personally. I'm gonna save everything. Save selected. Okay, all is saved. Okay, cool. So just saying. Um, I hope this is working out for you. It's not always easy staying following through. I guess we'll put it that way. Following through on your goals, but right now, if I'm being honest, it is 12:14 um, at night, and I don't normally record. I haven't recorded any of these episodes yet during the day because, well, I'm hanging out with my kids and they're having fun and playing and got the dog barking about this thing or that thing, whatever. And I'm not trying to put all that kind of noise into the video. So just to say, I get that there are things in life that come up and make it difficult. And where are you going to make a sacrifice? I think at the end of the day, there's a certain, you got to be honest with yourself. You got to make a sacrifice probably in some kind of way. You got to make choices. Let's not say sacrifice. It doesn't have to be a sacrifice necessarily, but you got to make choices. So, um, if this is something that you want, and it is something that I want, then this you just got to do it. You just got to find the time to do it. And in my case, I mean, I'm recording this, so you probably are not. So you could do it whenever works. You don't necessarily have to worry about the noises. Anyway, that's moving on. Moving on. At this point, there are these little insets, these little lights on the big pillars, and in order to get that to show up in our model, I'm going to hit polygroup edit again, and then there is the inset button here. This is another face edit option. It says inset the current set of selected faces. Click in viewport to confirm inset distance. An inset operation stitches in a smaller version of selected faces inside the existing one. So basically, it's just like making a little window type of a thing. So let's click inset. Oh, I can't yet because I need to actually select stuff first. So it's specifically these big faces, which just shift click to select them. Pretty quick and painless. Okay, then you click inset. They say follow the line, and then from here, you create it whatever size you want. They don't have a number. Like you can't do it fixed. You just have to eyeball it. So we'll do something like that. Okay, that looks pretty good. And then The other thing that they did here is they used extrude again, except instead of having it be 400, so that, because right now they're sticking out and we want them to be inset, and so you can just drag this to a negative value and then you wind up intruding it. It's not an extrusion anymore. They set it to negative 70, of which, select that, negative 70, enter. Okay, nice. Looking good. Yeah, mine looks basically just like theirs. Cool. Accept action. And accept. Nice. That looks awesome. Okay. At this point, I have learned that basically all of these edges are not what we exactly want it to look like, because basically that's just not how things actually look. And what we want to do is bevel the edges. So what I'm going to do is go back into Polygroup Edit, and then I'm going to select all of these faces for all of these pillars that we have made. So I guess I can see why they were like, hey, maybe let's not do any unnecessary pillars in the back that you're not going to see anyway, which I think is fair, you know. That's a fair thing. But I'm going to go through like I did before, and I don't know how to speed things up and put cool lounge music on top of it, which is what they did. So you could see them doing it, but I think you've got the idea that all of these faces, including, let's see, these ones, these ones, these ones, those, and those. So that for every single one of these pillars around the whole thing. So again, I'm going to just mute and do this so that you don't have to watch me do the whole thing. I'm still working, but I decided to come back just to talk through. I've made it through most of this side, but one thing that works for me, I have found, is doing something regularly. I don't know what works for you necessarily by any means, but I just know that I'm doing this almost every single day, and it's probably going to slow down just a little bit due to getting busy, because right now I'm on a break. But something that I think that you should consider if anyone is watching this besides me is take a moment to consider what is going to allow you to actually do this. If this is something you're going to do, for me, it's doing it regularly, not giving myself an excuse. Because I've given myself an excuse a lot, and I've learned that it's not so bad to just do the things. It's I personally had my own struggles with like not wanting to do whatever the thing is. It could even be something that I like or I'm interested in. Like in this case, I'm really excited that I'm doing this, and part of what held me up is, I think, just the fact that it's going to take a long time to get good at this. It's going to take however long it's going to take, and I've got, until until I'm there, I'm not there. And I'm like, when I first opened Unreal Engine, I was like, let's just see what I can do in here. And I couldn't even move. So, it's going to take as long as it takes. And figure out what's going to let you be successful with it. Otherwise, you just won't be successful. Like, not to be a naysayer or anything like that, but uh, reflect upon your own life for a moment and consider. When you don't have a plan, when you don't have a commitment, when you don't have something holding you accountable, do you always get stuff done? I don't know. Um, my experience with people is probably not. So, anyway, just putting that out there. That's just a thought I was having. Because, like, part of this is me just overcoming my own stuff. The whole reason I made a YouTube channel here is to hold myself accountable because I realized I need it. I need the accountability. So, what is it for you? What do you need? So, the bevel tool is underneath Edge Edits, and it's right here for me in the middle. It says bevel the selected edges, replacing them with angled faces. Bevel. And then the bevel distance is set to 4, which is what they have it set to. Now, interestingly, okay, so I'm using Unreal Engine 5.6.1, and they're using a slightly older version, so which is why I think there are some differences. Um, but they were saying that there weren't these other options, so I'll have to play with them to figure it out. But except if I zoom in here or move in, you can see the edge is now looking like this. So when the light hits this and you're actually looking at the object, it just doesn't, it's not going to look so sharp. I wonder, round weight? What if I increase the round weight? That doesn't seem to be doing anything. Let's hold right click and zoom and scroll back a little bit so that when I move, I'm not going so fast. I don't see. Let's redo this. And I didn't seem to do anything. What if I change the subdivisions to 5? Ooh, so this is actually, that's nice. That's nice. I like that. What if I did, if I just grabbed it and dragged it? I can go up to 10. And then round weight. Ah, there it is. Okay, that's awesome. Okay, that definitely looks better. I agree with them. Awesome. And then let's make myself move a little faster. I keep wanting to push spacebar to go up. Um, okay, but it also got the sides of the insets as well. Okay, wonderful. Accept action and accept. There we go. Actually, doesn't look different. No, does it? Oh, yes, it does. Okay. All right, cool. I've done it by Jove. Okay, cool. So they decided to do something. They're calling it a design choice, but they make a good point that these faces on the edge of these pillars are like really big, and the little stormtrooper guys walking around are going to be um, tiny by comparison. So what they decided to do is do another inset like before on all of these faces and then pull them down. So let's go polygroup edit. Oh, let's select, then polygroup edit, select these faces. Okay. And then let's inset. And then, let's see, we'll do something like that. Yep, that's about right. Then I need to go back and rewatch what they did exactly to figure out exactly how this works. Okay, I think I know what I'm doing. Let's accept the changes. Did it not go? Well, son of a gun. So, polygroup edit. No, it's there. Oh, I see. Then I select all of them on one side. I just they had a oh maybe it's that I need to have the wire mesh turned on the wireframe. Nope, not the wireframe. How are they getting the grid back? That's what I want to know. They're in the polygroup edit, just like me. Hmm. Interesting. But yeah, he was able to pull it out, but specific to a specific line on the ground. And I don't see. I have wireframe turned on, but that's not giving me the grid. Let me find if there's something I can push to see it, because I like being able to, yeah, see it and know where I'm going. Okay, well, I couldn't figure it out. I'm not seeing where to turn the grid on. So, given the time, I'm gonna not worry about it right now. And instead, I'm just going to select each of these. And you can only do it on one side at a time because you're gonna pull it out like so. And let's see, where are the details? I guess I don't get to see the details. Okay, well, let's undo that, and then we'll move it out. Let's try and get a real sense. Try and make it as close on each side as possible. Maybe I'll take it out to where it says accept. Then you can grab it and pull it down like so, which winds up making it look pretty cool. I'm going to pull it out a little bit more and go down. Hmm. There you go. That looks a little better. Okay. So that was a long time. And that's the other thing, I guess, is that sometimes little things wind up taking you a long time. Or at least me. Why is it all the way over here? What? Am I selected on something else? Nope. That is oh, it's changing the other ones too? What? Why? Why is it changing them? I don't have them selected. Okay, I've selected something else entirely. Okay, that should be better. There we go. Okay, that was weird. I wonder why it did that. But Unreal, as awesome as it is not perfect, I guess, is the moral of the story. Is that looking pretty similar? Uh, Close enough. I'm gonna hit accept. And there, that's looking, that looks cool. I like how that turned out. You're never gonna know. Except everybody who watches this will know. But that's okay. Playing a game, you would never know. Or watching a show or whatever. Okay, cool. Let's finish this out. All right, so the next chapter is lighting. This is it. This is the end of this particular section of things. So, I think I thought I saved this before. Oh well, I'm going to discard it for now. And this is what I've made, which is pretty darn cool. Um, and they were saying in the video, just one last thing, real fast, is that they didn't know about these modeling tools until just recently, and this is a couple years ago again when they made this. But just to say, um, really nice to have. I just want to grow my knowledge. I want to know more stuff. Um, I'm going to finish this tutorial series and see where I'll go from there. But the next episode will be about lighting. So thanks for sticking around. I hope you're having a good time. Like, again, I'm just trying to figure it out, trying to make it work. And I think so far it's been fun and interesting, and I'm learning a lot. And even though there are moments where I'm like, what is happening? um, I think that's fine. You know, I historically always wanted to be good at things right away, and you don't have to be good at things right away, turns out. So, with that, thanks for being here. Um, I will see you in the next episode of the Trev Log. See ya.